Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good morning, Sinkers and Nevis, and welcome to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9 for Saturday, November 5th, 2022. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, the phone lines will be open, and so you can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. This is Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. All right, good morning and welcome to Inside the News. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. As I said, the phone lines will be open shortly, and you can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Well, thank you so much for joining the conversation for today, Saturday, November 5th, 2022. We are in a new month, and you know, time is flying by really fast. Of course, very soon we will be celebrating Christmas. And of course, Happy New Year in 2023. Happy New Year. So time is flying fast and time is waiting for nobody. So if you have something that you want to do, something you want to accomplish, something you want to get done, this is the time. The longer you procrastinate and say, man, I'm going to try this tomorrow, or I'm going to try this on Monday, or I'm going to try it next week, it's not going to get any better. Time waits for no man. So if there is something that you want to do, a goal you want to accomplish, a task you want to complete, do it now. Time waits for no man. In today's edition of Inside the News, we will be looking at some of the major happenings in the week. Of course, in our news, happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis, of course. Every single day is something different, something mind blowing, something jaw dropping. But a lot really has been going on here in St. Kitts and Nevis over the past few weeks, and in this case, over the past few days. And we will be entertaining a conversation on those topics today, of course, with your participation, your input, your views and opinions at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Now, this has been the trending topic for the past day or two, perhaps 2 days. It has been, well, I think it was actually yesterday, Friday, because they had Parliament yesterday, Friday. But this has been the trending topic of the past 24 hours. It has been trending, let me say over the past 2 days, because the entire thing really, well, no, not the entire thing. Part of it started or came about on the 3rd of November, but the entire thing came about in, let's say, about a week or so after the general elections here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it has to do with comments made by the former Prime Minister and the current Prime Minister. Former Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris and current Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew. And it has to do with the state of the economy in terms of how they, where Dr. Harris is claiming that this is how the economy, this is not the economy, sorry. Dr. Harris is claiming that these are some of the monies that they left in the treasury. And Dr. Drew is saying that things are not as good as they would have wanted to be. And so there are certain things that they would have to cut back on. This is a news article I read here from Osu1 FM. So the current administration has inherited a deficit, according to the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, suggesting that there was a financial wastage during the previous administration's time in government. Quote, we inherited a deficit for those who may not understand. It means that more is going out than what was coming in. Instead of a surplus is the opposite of a surplus. Instead of a surplus is the opposite of a surplus. So it means, therefore, in other terms, we are in the red when it comes to our overall finances. This report was delivered to me by the Financial Secretary just recently after doing an assessment. So we inherited a deficit. The Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, who has responsibility for finance, and he made that comment on November 2nd, which was Wednesday of this week, on the Freedom FM's Issues with host Ike Flanders. The Prime Minister gave reports on several statutory bodies, including the St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, SCELEC, and the Development Bank, that have significant financial challenges. It says in May of 2022, SCELEC requested a government financial subvention to help continue the operations of the electricity company. Now, the Prime Minister has indicated that a bailout, in fact, is necessary. He said SCELEC has tremendous challenges in terms of its finances, to the point where the government now, from the consolidated funds, have to be paying the fuel charge for SCELEC above a certain point, which is equating to sometimes up to $9 to $11 million per month. We have decided that we, as a government, will pay it so that this cost is not passed on to the people. But SCELEC at this time, as a company, needs a significant financial injection from the government in order to function. Now, he continued, apart from an injection of funds to help curb or cut the costs that would otherwise be passed on to consumers. The Prime Minister reminded the public of the generators that failed recently and would need to be replaced, which is an investment bolstering the energy here in St. Kitts. Skulek would need 2 of those generators replaced, running a price tag of $35 million each to maintain our baseline energy requirements. The Prime Minister also indicated that the government would need to inject funds into the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, SCASPA. He further reported that the Solid Waste Management Company would also need a bailout, as it does not have the necessary funds to run operations. According to the Prime Minister, Development Bank was in serious trouble, saying that the bank was badly managed. An audit of the Development Bank is currently being carried out to help stabilize the bank. How do we solve this reported wastage? Quote, so one of the 2 ways of dealing with it is looking for it, holding those who participated in it responsible, and making sure that you put the laws in place so this type of thing does not happen again. So whoever comes after, you want them to really run a government that is efficient, that responds to people, and would not have so many instances of corruption. This was a government. This was a mob. This was a mafia setup. This was set up on how to make money from the government. That is what the Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, reported. The Prime Minister indicated that the country is in a vulnerable state, reporting that the government's revenue was heavily dependent on the CBI program, with 50 to 60% of revenue coming from that program. It is 17 minutes past the hour of 11 here in the studios of WinFM 98.9. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. Of course, we will be taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. We'll take this break, and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. It is 24 minutes past the hour of 11, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989. Let's take our first call for this morning. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Good morning, Devon.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Devon, I want to congratulate Antigua and Barbuda on their celebration of their independence on the 1st of November. I also want to make mention of the historic event of our first inaugural flight from Lagos, Nigeria to Antigua on the 1st of November 2022, which took just over 9 hours, with 150 Nigerians are now in Antigua today for a week on vacation. Devon, the gateway has been open, and this is an event that we should be discussing. Now, I also want to touch on something I see on social media pertaining to the narratives of the war between Russia and Ukraine. And this was on Democracy Now! with Amy Goodman and a former CIA Ray McGovern and a former advisor to Bernie Sanders, Matt Duss. Now, Devon, today we are in a world that is run by narrative and agenda. And if you listen to these two men on Democracy Now!, it's all about narrative and agenda. Now, here we have Ray McGovern saying that Putin has been warning America and NATO for almost 9 years not to bring military military equipment into their borders in Ukraine. And of course, Matt Duss is half Ukrainian and half something else. But he's mixed. But, you know, if you listen to both discussions, and one can always go back to the role of NATO and America, where the sovereignty of a people, their right that was imposed, and what we have seen, what NATO, the role of NATO in countries like Libya, Iraq, because what I'm getting from Ray McGovern is that first NATO went into Iraq and they accused Saddam Hussein of weapon of mass destruction, and in the end, there was no such thing. And now, what their narrative that is coming out from mainstream media is that Russia is threatening. Well, you know, I listened to a clip with Putin, with former Premier of the United Kingdom, Liz Truss. It was a Zoom meeting that they had. And what Putin is saying that he hasn't threatened anyone. He's been asking NATO and America not to bring their military base in his border. And by right, I think he has that right. As to when they have the Cuban Missile Crisis in Cuba, we know that story, Devon. So, I mean, when we listen to all these propagandas and narrative and agenda, if you are following the trend, well, then surely you have to give right its place and wrong its place. But, Devon, I'm going to stay there for now, but I want us to focus on that flight from Lagos, Nigeria, into Antigua. That took. Let me say good morning to Mrs. Henry, because, you know, I intend to take her to the continent, whether by flesh or in spirit. So, Devon, let us keep a topic on this inaugural flight into Antigua from Lagos, which took just 9 hours. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, Colin. Thank you, Colin, for your contribution to this program. It is 11:29, and the phone lines are open. You're taking your calls here on Inside the News. Call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. You're listening to Inside the News, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. As I was saying earlier, this has been one of the trending topics within the news this week, in terms of the Prime Minister saying the country is in red. No, the former Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, who was the minister responsible for finance, responded to the Prime Minister, claiming that that is not the case, and gave a list of what he left there when he was the Prime Minister. I have here with me, which I will share in short order. But basically, he responded to the statement by the Prime Minister in terms of the country being in the red and not being able to sustain some of the programs and initiatives that they would want to undertake at this point in time. But that has since sparked a lot of debate. I remember when we had this conversation where, when I say we, I mean generally across St. Kitts and Nevis, when there was a change in government in 2015 where the Prime Minister before that, Dr. Denzel Douglas, where people were claiming that, well, I didn't hear him say it, but people were claiming that he said he left $900 million in the Treasury. That never got a response. It was never denied. It was never shut down or anything like that. So is it safe to say that there is a trend of prime ministers saying what they left in the country whenever the prime minister of the day comes to say that the country is in the red, or we have a deficit? What are your thoughts? Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator. May God bless you and your listeners. Greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, I'd like to say, as you've been talking about the economy and what our leader and former leader have been saying and what people have been saying as well, from what we have heard over the year and so on, what I would like to say is this. There are two forms of economics. The two forms of economics are, one, biblical economics and worldly economics. The biblical economics is the only good economics. The worldly economics is the destructive, ruinous, perilous, very bad economics. Obviously, we have not been following and doing the biblical economics. We have not been applying such. We have been applying the worldly economics to our ruin, peril, and disaster. And biblical economics first start with repentance and change of heart to a godly heart from a sinful, evil, wicked heart, which we are all conceived with and born with. That is the first step in biblical economics. And unless we start there, we will always be going down the road of our destruction, peril, and disaster because of our rejection of the Bible, including the biblical economics that it teaches, which and only which will prosper all nations if they apply it and practice it. And so it does not matter who is in power. It doesn't matter which party is in government. It doesn't matter how much experts we have. This is why the whole world is falling apart economically, financially, socially, and where all aspects of life are concerned. The world is falling apart. Yes, it has made material progress, but even with the material progress, even the material progress is becoming our curse and our destruction that we have made. And so I would just like to say, if we want the best for the country, there's only one way, and that is the Bible's way. All other ways, no matter how much experts you have, those ways are destructive to us, they're perilous to us, and they are disastrous to us and ruinous to us because they go against the Bible. No matter how good they sound or how good they look, they are deceptive, they are wrong, and they are very bad. So I would just like to end by saying only Jesus is the answer. Only the Bible is the answer for everything in life, including politics, government, and social issues, and so on, including where the churches are concerned as well. Thank you very much.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. Let's take this short break, and we will be right back. You're listening to Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We'll take this break, and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
People make the world go
If you need protection, you'll need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you'll need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Okay, seem to have lost that caller. Caller, please call us back at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. This is Inside the News on Win FM 98.9. We'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you today?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad for my age, sir.
Okay. Before you continue, there's a bit of a noise in the background, so I'm not hearing you clearly.
Okay, you hearing me better now?
Yes, it's better now. Yes.
Okay. You have any guess how we could raise the topic?
Well, we're talking about the comment. We're talking about the comment made by the Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, that the country is in the red. And the former Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, responded with what appears to be some receipts suggesting otherwise.
What we have to say about that, the country is not in red. That's a total lie.
So you
and
would
a
say
very
that,
big lie too.
So you would say that the country is in a good financial standing.
The country is in a very strong financial standing. Very strong. And if you all check the IMF report, that will tell you that too. Not only that, if you go to the CVI collection in the last several years, that also will tell you that. When you have to check the money that the port, the licensing authority, right? Inland Revenue, Skelec, and all those other places, right? That is total rubbish about the country in red. The Prime Minister himself said on several occasions in his first 2 weeks that the country finances are very good. Let me put it in my own words, very good. He said that. You all have the tape, and all the other media houses them have that tape. And for he to come on Wednesday and say the country, if he say solid waste is in the red, we all know that. If he say Frigate Bay Corporation is in the red, we all know that. Right? But when it comes to the other financial corporations and the other government institutions, they are in good standing. Right? So that is total rubbish and nonsense by the Prime Minister on Wednesday.
All right.
And to what the former Prime Minister were going to respond to, the Speaker and the Honorable Connie Maynard is correct. in trying to stop the former Prime Minister from correcting what the present Prime Minister had said on freedom. It is true that what he said outside on another media house, you cannot bring that as trying to correct that inside the Parliament there on Wednesday. The Honorable Connie Maynard and the purchase and areas that he bring, he was so correct. The Speaker, she was correct in stopping the former Prime Minister. He could bring that when they have another Parliament and they start to talk about finances. In his part where he gonna bring forth numbers that to query what the present Prime Minister said. There is where he have his time. He now can come out and go on any media house, put forth his number, what he has left there. There is where he could answer it because that statement was made on a radio station, not in Parliament.
Right.
So the Speaker and the Honorable Collins Maynard, people may say he was annoying, jumping up all the time, but he had to do what? He had to make necessary corrections where they are due, and the correction was right in order. And if you see, he read from every section stating where and when and how these things supposed to happen. But he was correct, and the Speaker is correct in stopping it at that point, and then ask the former Prime Minister to address something else. Yeah, so that's about it on that. But with the maybe a lot of people might have misunderstand what the Prime Minister said to it. Maybe it's how he dropped it. Maybe it's how he put it over. But when we are talking about the country itself, all the total finance of the country, no, we are not in the red. And if we were in the red, the IMF was just here, right?
I think they made a visit sometime. Was it
last month?
It was last month. Okay.
I think last month or September they made a visit here.
I don't know
and
exactly
the report would I tell you that. And if we are in the red, how come our entourage, including the Prime Minister, left for Taiwan today?
Well, I mean,
and is it true that another entourage, ministers and the entourage left for Egypt? Do you know anything about that?
There's a delegation that's attending COP27. I think they left on Wednesday, and then there's a delegation that left today for an official visit to Taiwan. But even if your country is experiencing a deficit, these are some of the things that must still go on in terms of government representatives meeting with regional and international friends and representatives to ensure that you still have, a good international relationship going on. So these things are still necessary.
Well, here is the thing: if you are so in the red, you could save the country some money and do virtual meeting. If you're so in the red, why every week that ministers and entourage have to be traveling if you're so in the red? And another question I have you news department to ask the Prime Minister. Mr. Delcy O'Connor is what to the Prime Minister?
She's the press secretary.
Okay. A question I have to ask, and I could ask the Prime Minister, and maybe I could ask the spokesman for the government, whoever the area, that department is. Why is it Mr. Delcy O'Connor is not traveling with the Prime Minister?
Well, that's
the press secretary is supposed to travel with the Prime Minister and report back to the nation while the Prime Minister is in meetings, who he is meeting with, what the topics are going to be, because that's the job of the press secretary. The press secretary only could report from home. She didn't went to the UN meeting with the Prime Minister. She did not went to Mousetrap the other day with the Prime Minister. I think he went to Trinidad. He went to Trinidad, Cynthia. Some other place he went, she was not there. And he supposed to be off to Taiwan this morning. And I am sure she's not part of that delegation. So please to ask the governing authority why Mr. Delcy O'Connor is not traveling with the Prime Minister as the press secretary. Why she's sitting at home and reporting from home, waiting for some party of the delegation to report to her here in St. Kitts, while the Prime Minister and delegation is overseas, and she has to stay in St. Kitts to get a report from overseas to report to the nation. That's not supposed to happen. We want to know why she's not traveling with the Prime Minister. Gone.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 11:47. We'll take a short break and we will be right back. Let's take this break and I'll be right
back. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstores Curbside Pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's Curbside Pickup Service.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Okay, we seem to have lost that. Caller, please call us back at 466-0989. 762-0989 or 662-0989. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. And yourself?
Oh, I'm here giving God thanks, man. I made it into November. You know what I mean?
Yes.
By the time I spin around, it's January. I would even say Christmas.
That's what I was saying. Happy New
Everybody
Year again.
hustling Christmas. You see, playing all these things so early. Pushing it. So imagine if you had something planned for Christmas. You say, God, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Time short. Whenever we were young, you know, Christmas come Christmas, eh? You don't come in October and all kind of thing to stress you. Good morning to all the listeners at home and abroad. Good morning to all of my relatives, children, grandchildren, all my nieces and nephews, everybody overseas. Now, I was listening to hear you play Dr. Harris's comment. Sorry, I missed it. I don't know if I fall asleep or whatever. His explanation as to what Dr. just said. Mm-hmm. Because they could say anything when the auditor's report come out. Because this thing about when Labour said they left 999 million. Every year I got a copy of the auditor's report, and they left 677 million. The money was still in the SIDF, you understand? It was not in the consolidated fund. The money from the fund only went over after 2015. So the thing about the left, that's not true. And I believe Dr. Joe misunderstood, misinterpreted the information given to him because it can't happen. And the statutory bodies situation, that is known. Because you remember when they when before election, and
it was revealed about Casper,
the electricity, right?
Yeah, and Skelec. Yeah, I remember those
And all
two.
of them, because the truth is, even the garbage place, solid waste, they got most of their revenue from the transportation system. No boat coming, because they got environmental tax. Casper, no boat coming, or very, you know what I mean? So that their revenue source dried up. So it's not that they were negligent. It's only now they begin to make something. So when something is said, poor management, how could it be poor management? We couldn't haul in the boats. Plane weren't coming, you know? So we have, and then the tariff, the surcharge, electricity surcharge, none was being paid to Skelec. You know that, right? Because that came out when they were saying, 21 million. You remember 21 million story? If the government, because even the Navy people have to pay, but in St. Kitts, they were not paying. Not to mention the amount of moratorium they gave in terms of paying your bills. So people weren't paying, no surcharge, and they had to be paying for the fuel. So, I mean, to suggest that is poor management, maybe what should have been happening is that since they know every month, because Dr. Joe said 9 million a month, they could have transferred the money to Skelec, at least ease some of the burden. And even when they said, you must start to pay, it became an issue. Because the time they gave, I think they'd given them 3 months or 6 months. It was 6 months, right?
About that, yes.
Yeah. And they would just start to pay from September. I mean, we got to make up our mind. I can't talk about development bank. That's another story, yeah? But when it comes to the solid waste and so, the government has contributed to it. Because people working still, garbage collecting still. And they're not collecting any revenue because the revenue would have come through the same Ministry of Finance to them. You know, but to suggest that we're in the red. If we were really in the red, the place would have shut down. They have been in there 3 months paying wages, making purchases, giving subvention. I mean, how can we be in the red if we are not borrowing? When you're in the red, you are forced to borrow. Isn't that so? Yes, I go. Red mean you ain't got no money. Red mean the expenses exceed the revenue. I explained sometime before. When you look at what we call the recurrent account, government has two accounts. Recurrent, which is everyday expenses. And you have the capital account, which accounts for the capital goods, the roads, the electricity, the stoplight, and the other stuff. Now, government taxes, they give small business, 50% discount. The incorporated ones get 25% discount. Some of them, nobody paying. Very little going into the government revenue. So, even in a good year, and then to add to that, the things that the government purchase, just like the Ghana for them too. So that government expenses increase greatly, and the revenue is down. I mean, Greg could tell you that. He's working on revenue. Port bringing in less, custom bringing in less, everybody bringing in less. You will have a deficit there. But that has always been balanced by making inputs from the CBI. It goes into the account as budgetary support. Have you ever read one of them and see it in there?
No, I have not.
I'm going to get somebody look for my documents and send them for you. You know? Or you're familiar with yourself with them. Because sometimes our people don't really understand what's going on. So the money that comes in from the passport and citizenship business, it helps to offset the deficit in the recurrent account. Capital account, sometimes they get grants and loans or they borrow. But if they're not borrowing, they have money. The minute they say they're not borrowing, you cannot be in the red and broke and keep spending without borrowing.
All right, we'll call it. Thank you, because we're going to take some more calls before we wrap up at 12, all right?
I want you to think it out. Think it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. It is 11:56. We'll take a few more calls before we wrap up at 12 for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Call us today and be a part of the conversation. This has been a major talking point over the past about 24 hours, 2 days. Well, 24 hours, more so 48 hours, with regards to the country, according to the Prime Minister, being in the red, and then the former Prime Minister, who was responsible for finance, claiming that this is what was left there, and giving something like a report, to say, well, this is what we left in the treasury. This is how much money that is there, and so because of that, then being in the red is not so. That is what the situation is. I do have the clip with the member of parliament from number 7. I couldn't get it ready in time, but definitely for the second hour, I'll have that clip played for you. If we have no more calls, we'll wrap up now and break for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Okay, there is one more caller who's trying to get in, so let's take this call and then we wrap up at 12. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Good morning, Devon.
And how are you this morning?
I am doing well. How about you?
Not bad at all. I'm just giving thanks for life.
All right. I'm listening to your show, and one of the things that's glaring is the fact that when we have government sitting in power for 5 years and not really telling the people what's going on, this is what you're going to have happening. Now, we have callers who call in giving information that I'm wondering, well, how they get that information if we've never heard the government saying it. Where's this information coming from? I've asked over and over about the CBI receipt. And we had a caller earlier that said there's money in the CBI. How much is it? Why have we not heard before? How much money is there? We had a person doing a show on air the other night that revealed that there are 34,000 passports that have been sold. That question has been asked over and over and over again. And the persons who were in the government preceding this one said they didn't know. Nobody knew how many. So if this person is not in government, where are they getting this information from? How do we get this information and get it consistently so the people of the country see and understand, and nobody can leave and say, well, I left this there, I left that there, and then there's this guessing and accusations going back and forth about who left what and who didn't leave what and all of that. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. I'm now hearing reports, referrals to the IMF report, and I thought I've heard that the IMF reports, nobody had seen the IMF reports for the last couple of years. So where are they coming from now? Where have they been? And so you understand, Devon, what is happening?
Yeah,
people are listening. We are bombarded now with more information than we've ever had on both sides, because those who have left, who didn't want to give information before, all of a sudden want to stand up and give all kinds of information. So we're now being bombarded with information. Where is it coming from? Why didn't it come before? And the people of the country need to know, because it's worrisome when you hear we're in the red. We things don't look good or whatever. People are concerned. There's been a lot going on with COVID and all of those other stuff, and people are concerned. People come to the radio daily talking about reports that they have and what they used to do and all that stuff. Perhaps they should get a show and teach the people of the Federation where can this information be accessed so that everybody has privilege to it and not just though one or two persons talking. It's real confusing and real disheartening. That's all I have to say, Devon.
All right, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program, caller. You made a very interesting point that I think most people would agree with in terms of the flow of information. You see, what we have now is that and this has been a cycle, and this is nothing new. It is a trend, but it is sad that those now on the opposition bench, of course, they're going to have all the answers. They're going to have all the questions. They're going to have all the wonderful ideas and solutions as to how to fix some of the issues and problems that we have in our communities and in our society. But when they were in government, they didn't even want to answer a question. They didn't even want to appear on a program to be asked questions about the state of the country and some of the work that they have been doing. So this is not knocking those who currently sit on the opposition bench, but it has been a trend for quite some time. You know, when you're in government, for you, everything is nice, everything is beautiful, you know, but when you get out of government, no, the country is running bad and this is happening and that is happening. And so it has been a trend going on for quite some time, which is unfortunate, I must say. Really, really, really unfortunate. You know, it's like in government you're patriotic, and then out of government you're not. I mean, at the same time, the opposition, they do have a role to play, and they do have a right to ask the relevant questions and to lay their criticism. I'm not saying that, because what you're seeing happening now is the very same thing that I just spoke about, where there are some people that tell themselves, well, we are in government now, so don't ask us anything. And you're seeing it happen on both sides, where there are certain government supporters that believe that they shouldn't be asked any questions. And if you're going to ask a question, ask it to the opposition. And then the opposition supporters who believe that, yes, you must ask the government all these questions, but when they were there, they never even used to answer their phone, you know. So that's the sad reality. It is 4 minutes past 12, so let's take this break now for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll continue Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission. Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Neva Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations: In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tilly Wall with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
With the WIN headline news, I am Kevon Brown. Making the headlines, ECHO introduces licensing rates in St. Kitts and Nevis with government support, a move to support content creators and owners. Trinidad and Tobago asks U.S. to authorize Venezuelan gas imports to restart liquefaction train. Police operation restores fuel distribution and access to main port in Haiti. Internationally, Imran Khan says Pakistan's Prime Minister Sharif was involved in plot to kill him. Now, the details. The Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights has reached an amicable agreement with the government, music creators, and music users of St. Kitts and Nevis concerning licensing and compliance with music rights. In a recent consultation with stakeholders across all sectors, ECHO introduced new introductory licensing rates effective November 1st, 2022, to music users of St. Kitts and Nevis to increase compliance and licensing revenue in the territory. The introductory rates will run for a period of 1 year. The objectives of the consultations were to educate music creators and music users on the importance of music rights, license all music users, broadcasters, hotels, guest houses, restaurants, bars, shops, stores, banks, offices, etc., thus increasing ECHO's licensing revenue, and foster a partnership with the government, intellectual property registrar's office, and other creatives in St. Kitts and Nevis. ECHO plans to license all music users in St. Kitts and Nevis and will contact all business owners, broadcasters, and event promoters for a license. The licensing will cover public performances, mechanical license, synchronization license, and a production fee. All public performances in spaces where people gather, other than a small circle of family or its social acquaintances, or are transmitted to the public by radio or television broadcasts, music on hold, cable television, and by the internet, must have a public performance license. The license grants permission to play the song in public, online, or on the radio. A mechanical license grants permission to release the song in an audio-only format, interactive audio streams, digital downloads, CDs, vinyl, etc. A synchronization license grants permission to release the song in a video format, YouTube, DVDs, Blu-ray discs, etc. And a reproduction fee is a cost associated with copying the content from one medium to another, making it available to the public. Tariffs on copyrighted content use already exist. The tariffs will affect broadcasters, concerts and events, carnival street parades, restaurants, bars and cafes, karaoke, banks, offices and industrial premises, shops and stores, and online music use, with fees associated with the use of copyrighted content in these institutions and situations. For broadcasters, ECHO's tariffs are calculated as a percentage of the gross advertising revenue and the reproduction fee. Annually, cable would pay 1.625% of gross advertising revenue, and the reproduction fee is $10,000. Radio would pay 2.5% of gross advertising revenue and a $3,000 reproduction fee. Television would pay 1.625% and a $6,000 reproduction fee. ECHO will introduce a 50% reduction in the production fee to ease the Federation into this era of copyright compliance. How will ECHO regulate the use of copyrighted content? Broadcasters have the option of submitting monthly logs to ECHO in Excel format, or have ECHO digitally monitor their frequency through BMAT for an annual fee of EC $1,000. The implementation of the licensing fees and the backing of the government now gives ECHO the authority to affect how media houses, events, and businesses consume copyrighted content. In ECHO's current concerts and events tariffs, royalties are 5% of gross gate receipts. There is a minimum royalty base on the human capacity of a space per event. The minimum is only applied where the calculation of 5% of the gross gate receipts fall below the minimum royalties per event for the corresponding capacity. 500 persons and less, $400. 501 to 1,000 persons, $815. 1,001 to 5,000 persons, $1,630. 5,001 and over, $3,000. When the admission fee includes drinks, the royalty payable is reduced by 30%. When the admission fee includes food and drinks, the royalty payable is reduced by 50%. The annual licensing fee for restaurants, bars, and cafes is solely based on the seating capacity of the venue. ECHO will introduce a 4% rate of the gross receipts to event promoters. For free events, it will offer a 10% discount on the rate as per the capacity. The discount is not applicable to the minimum daily rates of background music, which is $150, or specially featured or live music, which has a daily rate of $400. The annual license fee for karaoke is EC $450. Restaurant, bars, and cafe owners request a copyright music license incorporating karaoke or specially featured music. The restaurant, bars, cafes, karaoke, or specially featured music tariff is applicable in such cases. The following introductory rates were proposed. Restaurants, bars, and cafes, for the first 15 seats, $300. Each additional 10 seats or part thereof, $70. Karaoke, the annual fee is $400. The daily fee is $125. Specially featured music, royalties are payable as a percentage of expenditure of entertainment at 4%. A 3-month payment plan will be applied to the annual license fee. Using ECHO's current restaurants, bars, and cafes tariff, the license fee would be as follows. Vibes Bar and Grill, 15 seats, background music only, $376. The license fee would be reduced to $300. The licensing fee for small rum shops not exceeding 300 square feet is $200. Similar fees are applicable in other stores, businesses, and situations where copyrighted content is consumed. As stated, the licensing and fees came into effect on November 1st, 2022. ECHO is responsible for licensing all public use of music in the Eastern Caribbean, irrespective of which country the songwriter is from. Affiliated societies include COSCAP in Barbados, JCAP in Jamaica, COT in Trinidad and Tobago, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC in the USA, SOCAN in Canada, etc. within the OECS. In regional news, Trinidad and Tobago asks U.S. to authorize Venezuelan gas imports to restart liquefaction train. Police operation restores fuel distribution and access to main port in Haiti. Those reports and more from Carib Update.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is asking the United States to authorize Venezuelan gas imports to restart an idled liquefaction train there. Under U.S. sanctions, companies and governments must obtain authorization from the U.S. Department of Treasury to do business with Venezuelan state-run oil company PDVSA. Trinidad's past requests for U.S. approval have gone unanswered, but the U.S. Biden administration's willingness to ease some sanctions on Venezuela if President Nicolas Maduro and the opposition progress in talks for a presidential election could provide a new opportunity. The gas would mainly come from Venezuela's Dragon field off the country's eastern coast, where PDVSA has found reserves of 4.2 trillion cubic feet. The project was headed for production almost a decade ago, but stalled over lack of capital and partners and sanctions. If approved, its gas could restart an idled liquefaction train with a 500 million cubic feet per day capacity at Trinidad's flagship Atlantic LNG project. The facility is a venture mainly including Shell, BP, and state-owned National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago. Even if Washington granted Trinidad's request, it could take years of investment and development to bring Venezuelan gas to Trinidad and boost LNG to Europe. The Guyana government has decided to auction 14 oil blocks offshore in the coming months under new fiscal conditions. The new conditions can see the country benefiting from as high as US $20 million sign-in bonus, along with royalties more than doubling and the imposition of corporation tax. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo reveals changes to the cost of oil formula, bidding restrictions, and more stringent relinquishment clauses.
So the 50 profit sharing will be retained. The 50%, yeah, so 50. The royalty rate will go to 10%. There shall be a corporate tax of 10%. The maximum for any given year going to cost oil will be 65%. These are the key fiscal conditions. Now, the PSA, we have the consultants working to strengthen the PSA to be ready before the auction is concluded, because we have to strengthen the PSA in many areas, and these are the PSA will be amended to reflect these new fiscal terms too.
It was decided that 14 offshore blocks will be up for auction, 11 in the shallow area and 3 in the deep sea area. A police operation in Haiti has reportedly restored fuel distribution and access to the main port there. The movement of containers that have been stuck for months is said to be underway and will continue for the next few days. Equipped with new tactical training and recently acquired Canadian-made armored vehicles, specialized units of Haiti's National Police Force have, according to reports, taken back control of the country's main oil terminal and seaports from powerful gangs after 2 months. The police operation was first launched Tuesday, but after police units were outgunned by heavily armed members of the gang coalition known as G9 Families and Allies, they were forced to retreat. On Thursday morning, police relaunched their efforts, this time with SWAT teams. In a related development, 2 high-profile politicians in Haiti have been sanctioned by both the United States and Canada. Joseph Lambert, the current president of the country's dysfunctional Senate, and Yuri Latotu, who presided over the Senate before Lambert, were sanctioned for alleged ties to drug trafficking and criminal gangs. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said the U.S. will continue to hold accountable anyone who foments instability and undermines democracy in Haiti. Canada's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mélanie Joly, said they will freeze any assets Lambert and Latotu hold in Canada.
We now bring you these international reports.
Former Prime Minister Imran Khan planned a protest caravan across Pakistan, demanding elections be held a year earlier and the current Prime Minister resign. Then on Thursday, a few days into his 300-kilometer journey to the capital, he was shot in the leg. Supporters say it was an assassination attempt and blame the current Prime Minister, something the government denies. Now in stable condition, Khan addressed the media for the first time since the attack.
If this was synchronized, I wouldn't have survived. Because I fell, one of the shooters thought I'd died and left. If these thieves take control, and if we accept this, then this isn't what Pakistan was made from.
Khan was removed from office in April after a no-confidence vote in Parliament. He's since held rallies across Pakistan seeking to rebuild support.
Imran Khan is our red line and now they've crossed it. We want peace, but the rulers don't want that. Imran Khan always advised us to stay calm, but now they've shot him. We're waiting for Khan to get well soon, and after that we'll see what to do.
Khan says we have to live and die here in Pakistan. They will run out of bullets, but not PTI supporters.
The governing Pakistan People's Party is struggling to bring the economy out of crisis, something it blames on Khan's administration.
He didn't deliver for 4 years. The economy was down, the foreign policy was being challenged all over the world. Pakistan lost its credibility.
Khan says he plans to join the tens of thousands of his supporters to continue the march with the planned sit-in in the capital once he has recovered. Police have lined the streets in preparation.
The message is very clear. We're fighting for civil supremacy in Pakistan. For the people, it's very important that their voice be heard and they determine who will be the next government, who will be their next leader. It should not happen in closed rooms. It should be by the vote of the people.
The federal government that runs Islamabad has indicated that any deviation from approved protest plans will be met with force. Leah Harding, Al Jazeera.
Elon Musk has defended his decision to sack thousands of staff at Twitter without warning. The world's richest man bought the social media platform last week. He tweeted to say that he was forced to make the cut because Twitter was losing nearly $4 million a day. Mr. Musk also attempted to allay concerns about the spread of hate speech, saying Twitter's commitment to content moderation remained unchanged. But President Biden has said the tycoon has bought an outfit that spews lies across the world. Many big firms have paused their advertising on Twitter, while uncertainty about its content controls remain. Here's our technology editor, Zoe Kleinman.
Elon Musk didn't speak to any of the thousands of Twitter employees laid off today. Instead, he was a surprise guest at this investor conference in New York. Meanwhile, many Twitter staff woke up locked out of their work laptops. They were later told via an email to their personal accounts that it was their last working day at the firm. Some have been told they'll be paid until February next year, getting some sort of certainty after months of speculation.
A mixed range of emotions, certainly upset, certainly frustration, certainly some anger. But you know what? Also, in some cases, some relief, right? Because this was a thing that played out over the course of the majority of this year.
There were, understandably, lots of emotional tweets. This isn't looking promising, can't log into emails, so grateful this is happening at 3 a.m. Another said, the official and very dehumanising layoff email has been received. For others, it was simply bye. Literally everyone.
Elon Musk made it clear when he bought Twitter last Friday that big changes were coming. Twitter's regarded as influential, but it hasn't made a profit in years, and it's also failed to attract new users.
Twitter makes its money from adverts, and businesses are spending less on that as the financial crisis bites. There have also been calls for brands to boycott Twitter in protest against Mr. Musk's leadership, something he addressed today.
A number of major advertisers have stopped spending on Twitter. This doesn't seem right because we've made no change in our operations at all.
Elon Musk is planning to charge a monthly fee for verification, currently given out for free to high-profile accounts as a badge of authenticity. He's also looking at setting up a moderation board to oversee decisions about banned accounts. For those staff who remain, Twitter under Elon Musk, who says he expects an extreme work ethic, will be a very different environment. And the platform itself might also start to feel like a new experience. Mr. Musk is the world's richest man. He knows how to do business. He may well be able to turn Twitter around, but it'll be done on his terms. Zoe Kleinman, BBC News.
Well, earlier I asked Erin Wu from The Information about how Twitter employees, past and present, are feeling about the situation.
People are shocked at the speed that this is happening at, and they're also they're angry that there hasn't been more communication from Elon Musk and his team. They're also worried about what's going to happen to the future of the platform.
Well, what specifically are their concerns? Which direction do they see the platform heading in?
So what's important to remember is that this is all happening just days ahead of the midterm elections in the United States. And so days ahead of the midterms, half of the staff has been fired. And so they're worried that there won't be enough content moderation staff. And they're also concerned about what could happen if Elon Musk goes ahead with his plan to start charging for verification on Monday, just one day before the midterm elections.
Elon Musk tweeted earlier, he said Twitter's strong commitment to content moderation remains absolutely unchanged. And he says, in fact, we've actually seen hateful speech decline below our prior norms, contrary to what you may read in the press. Does that tally with what you're seeing?
Sure. I can't confirm or deny what he's saying about the amount of hateful speech on the platform changing. But what I can say is that, for example, the curation team, which was responsible for essentially helping determine what people saw through trending topics, that team has just been absolutely decimated by these cuts. And so people are concerned that those changes and others may lead to more misinformation on the platform ahead of Tuesday's elections.
Thinking longer term about the platform, how does Twitter look to you, kind of short, medium and long term under Elon Musk?
I think all we can say at this point is it's going to be incredibly difficult. It's going to be incredibly different. Like, we've seen a few of the changes already. He's planning on changing verification. There's talks of bringing back Vine, the short form video product. There's also been some indication of what he's planning on shuttering, and so that's reviewed and notes the longer form content. So there's definitely a lot of product changes coming up, and what's, I guess, left to be seen is how well he's able to execute.
He says this was necessary to make these cuts because the platform was losing $4 million a day. Sure. It's now his company. It's his right to do with it as he pleases, really, isn't it?
Sure. I mean, yes, that is definitely one way to look at it. I think it's also important to add that the amount of financial pressure that Twitter is under has been increased by the way that he financed his bid to buy the platform. And so he's added around $1 billion of debt that needs to be repaid every year. And so that obviously ups the financial pressure quite a bit.
Stewart Rhodes, the founder of the far-right Oath Keepers group, took the stand in his own defense on Friday. Federal prosecutors charged Rhodes and others in his organization with seditious conspiracy over what investigators say was their role in trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power during the deadly January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. Testifying in court, Rhodes presented a softer side than the image he commonly projects as that of a fiercely anti-government supporter of former President Donald Trump. a Yale law-educated former U.S. Army paratrooper. Rhodes teared up at times as he spoke about his decision to create the Oath Keepers in 2009, saying it is a civic-minded group that welcomes people of all races. Prosecutors have said Rhodes is a radical far-right figure who urged his followers to use any means necessary, including violence, to keep Trump in power and prevent Congress from certifying President Joe Biden's election victory. After the January 6th attack, Rhodes was secretly recorded in a profanity-laced call, saying, quote, "We should have brought rifles," and that he would have been happy to hang House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the top Democrat in Congress, from a lamppost. While most of the rioters at the U.S. Capitol have said they were motivated by Trump's false claims that the 2020 election was stolen, Rhodes said he believed the election had been unconstitutional because of new rules to make it easier for voters to cast ballots during the pandemic. Rhodes and 4 other co-defendants are facing multiple felonies in connection with the January 6th attack by supporters of then-President Donald Trump that sent lawmakers and staffers fleeing for their lives. The seditious conspiracy charge carries a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. Rhodes is set to resume testifying on Monday.
You were listening to the WinFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were: ECHO introduces licensing rates in St. Kitts and Nevis with government support, a move to support content creators and owners. Trinidad and Tobago asks U.S. to authorize Venezuelan gas imports to restart liquefaction train. Police operation restores fuel distribution and access to main port in Haiti. Internationally, Imran Khan says Pakistan's Prime Minister Sharif was involved in plot to kill him. Thank you for listening.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low electrification and service for second to none. See or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go
Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. We have some callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines. Let's take this caller. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989-762-0989 or 662-0989. You're listening to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9 for Saturday, November 5th, 2022. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm very good.
Awesome.
Well, first off, I was pretty impressed with the House of Assembly meeting on Friday. I like how the Speaker handled the issue between the two parliamentarians, Dr. Harris and Congress Maynard.
Yes.
Because Parliament could quickly have descended into a never-ending back and forth. Okay, so it is very good that she intervened and made what I considered a very wise decision to stop what was about to happen so that the proceedings could continue. Okay, I really like that. Some people are saying that, well, she shut up the ex-prime minister, but that was clearly not, and it happened at the start, I think, of the session. That was clearly not the time and place to do a response like what he was planning. And we know what he was planning because he subsequently released it. Okay? That was definitely a controversial issue that would have distracted the Parliament from its business. And so the Speaker did the right thing. And Congress Maynard, I think, did the right thing to challenge Dr. Harris on that. Otherwise, what we would have had would have been another of his long political harangues. I personally think that the ex-Prime Minister was trying to salvage his legacy as some kind of financial guru, as well as divert attention from the serious accusations made by Dr. Ju in his interview on Wednesday, I think it was. We should all be concerned with what he revealed there, that millions of dollars was being disbursed for work that was to be done on projects like the Basti High School, the New Basti High School. That wasn't done. Okay? And I think that more so than what subsequently was released by the ex-Prime Minister is what I think should grab our attention, because things like those are what definitely affect the bottom line and determine whether we're in the red or not. And it's very important that we stop the bleeding early. Okay? Right? So I think the ex-Prime Minister felt compelled to respond to the statement by the present Prime Minister of being in the red for the reasons I spoke about. Now that that has been done, though, I expect in this new era of transparency and accountability that the Prime Minister not engage in a back and forth with the ex-Prime Minister, but that he direct the Financial Secretary to give a professional assessment of this matter.
I agree there.
Yeah, it's already in the public domain. Statements have been made. These statements have an impact on certainly the nation's psyche, right? We don't want to hear that we're in the red. That doesn't add to morale, I think. and it certainly does not do well for the investment climate. Okay, and so it's very important that we get a true picture of what is put out there. Okay, and we already have a distrust of politicians, so I think a technocrat is best placed to tell us exactly what the position is. Okay, and to do so in an unambiguous way that ordinary people can understand exactly what the position is we're in. You know, which government entities, for instance, are definitely in the red, you know, for whatever reasons. What is the true fiscal position of the government overall, right? I mean, a budget is coming up soon, so we should get a better picture of the state of affairs. And the Attorney General, I think, is continuing investigations, and we expect that more details will come from him on any malfeasance or corrupt practices, and if necessary, prosecutions would result. All right? What would help is, of course, a speedy introduction of the good governance tools, for if they're implemented as soon as possible. I think more people, including journalists and other technicians, will have access to information. And we wouldn't need this diversionary back and forth like we seem to be having over the past couple of days.
Because, I mean, that is, not to cut you off, caller, but that is exactly what is happening. You have the current Prime Minister saying that this is the situation of the country, and the former Prime Minister responding, claiming that this was the situation. We want to know for a fact what is the true status. So the back and forth, and then not just between the two parliamentarians, but between different party supporters, it doesn't really help the situation. That's my take on it.
Yeah, right. And there are a number of people who are talking without information to back up what they're talking about. That is why I say a technocrat should give, a professional should give a true picture of the state of affairs. All right? And we can't rely on the reports that, for instance, the Prime Minister was referring to, the IMF, because those were essentially projections. I mean, saying that we have a projected growth rate of 9 point something for 2022. And making that prediction, I think that was since before August. We have no idea of how close or far we are from that actual growth rate. All right? Okay? But somebody like the financial secretary, who is supposed to monitor these things on a, if not daily, certainly in a timely manner, would know the current state of affairs. And that is what I think we need right now. Right? Let's get these things behind us as quickly as possible and get on with the business of growth and development. For ultimately, I think that is what will impact the lives of ordinary people. Right? And stop this spinning and the trying to make yourself look good and, you know, glossing over stuff. You know, that does not help. Okay? So let's hope that in the coming weeks, we'll certainly have more clarity on this issue, and we get back to, shall we say, business as normal. Okay? That's what I think about the whole situation. Really. It's unfortunate that, you know, we have to come down to this again. All right? And as I said, it's because there has not been transparency and access to information. Information was not forthcoming, and so all kind of people will do all kind of things with the figures to suit their narrative. What we want is a true picture of the state of affairs. Okay then.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 12:52, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. I like the suggestion, put forward there by the caller. Let me stick a pin, and we'll take some more calls. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon. Hope you had your lunch.
Not as yet.
Not as yet. Well, I would tell you to bring some for me, but you don't know where I live. Well, you don't have any vision. So we share, right?
Right.
Vision share.
Yes.
But I was first taken to Nevis at the age of 12. My aunt took me to everybody. Big people call you cousin. So, God bless them. Now, let me give some information, because, you see, our people, we don't like to read. We don't like to research. I have been on this radio station and other radio stations telling people where the information is, but we just don't want to look it up ourselves. For those who are interested in the IMF report, go to the internet, www.imf.org. Now, the country report, they will have the alphabet. You look on the S for St. Kitts and Nevis, and you will see there the consultation for. If you scroll down after you read the report, scroll down to the bottom are the tables. They're there. In the government estimates, the information about the CBI fees are there. I tell you straight, under non-tax revenue, you'll have fees, fines, and forfeiture, the other things charged in the courts. Sale of land and the passport fees are there. To get a true picture, you need the auditor's report, not the financial secretary. The auditor's report, which would come when they're going to have the budget. They will present the one for last year. Now, if you take the time to look through the documents, you will see the information there. Now, everybody won't be able to do it, but some of us who call in, we have the mental capacity to do it, but we don't. And to suggest that some people just talking. For 18 years, it was my job and my duty to calculate the GDP, the growth rate. The Ministry of Finance does not do it. It is done in the statistics office or department. That's where it is done. And the information is sent to the banks and to the IMF. So if you want to know about the projection or the estimate, ask them.
All right.
You know? So this lot of analysis we're doing, they make no sense. And then to suggest, if Dr. Drew had given the numbers, it would make sense. But to come and say, oh, we're in the weather. Now I am calling upon the journalists and I don't know, it's my neighbor radio, and a lot of economists around here. Think about getting some economists to come on the radio and analyze the IMF report. They were asking for it, and now they get it, they don't want it. Now they get it, they're talking about it. Oh, where the IMF report? I hear 1/2021. Have you seen it? Could you please get somebody to discuss it on the radio? What they say. And I'm still waiting to hear what Dr. Harris said to combat what Dr. Drew said. Dr. Drew gave no information. Don't just come and say we have it.
All right, well, caller, thank you so
Please
much
play
for
it. You promised to play it.
Yes, I'm trying to get it played, but I'm having an issue with
Yeah, because
the
I want to
clip.
read because I missed it. Sorry about that, eh?
All right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution, caller. It is 12:57 here in the studios of 1FM 98.9, and we are taking your calls here on today's edition of Inside the News. Today is Saturday, November 5th, 2022, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Call us and be a part of the conversation at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Let's head out to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Devon, and good afternoon to our listeners. I would like to just say a quick thank you to Jesus Christ for sparing us from the hurricanes and the storm being this area, including us in St. Kitts and Nevis. Let me just give some gratitude on the ear to my Jesus Christ, my Savior and Lord and God, and thank Him very much for sparing us here in this federation and in other places as well. And even those who He did not spare, I still give Him thanks for it all, because His word says, He works all things together for the good of those that love Him and are called of Him. So I thank Jesus Christ for it all and for everything. Also, what I want to say, as somebody said earlier, concerning this Russia-Ukraine thing, is America really the instigator of it all? And America going around the world making a lot of problems. And we are very, very near to a nuclear war. A lot of people don't realize it, but it's very serious. We are very near to a nuclear war. But God is in control. My Jesus is in control for the good of His own and for His glory only. Thank you.
All right, Colin, thank you for your contribution. Let's take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
People make the world go.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
All right, welcome back to Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9. We had a caller that seemed to have lost that caller, but please, you can call us back at 466-0989. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon again, Devon. I think it's very important that we get this right because of the impact it can have. There are a number of government departments. Yes, the Statistics Department, I guess, is one of them. Treasury, all those different departments. But at some point, they report to somebody. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the financial secretary would have these reports, have access to these reports, even if they don't directly report to her. Okay? And so that is the person I think is best placed to get the accurate information from. The Auditor General or Director of Audit comes after the fact. I don't think the Director of Audit can tell us right now the true state of the economy when they have not audited the books as yet. Okay, as a matter of fact, if you recall, that was one of the job acts of the, I think, the Public Accounts Committee, the new legislation, because they basically were supposed to look at what the Director of Audit found to make pronouncements on how government was, the fiscal position of government and how it was performing, right? And the fact is, the Director of Audit basically made pronouncement on the activities of government for the previous year. So, but what we're dealing with is real time. Okay, we're in this situation now. The situation can change from quarter to quarter. In other words, 3 months, we might have been in a great position 3 months before, but not a good position now. Okay, if you made a comparison between what we were getting in last year, around the same time, for the same quarter, as now, we may be performing better or we may be performing badly. And that is what we need to do, need to know, so that we can make whatever course corrections are necessary. And so that is why I say this is where the technocrats come in, we need good, accurate information so that we can make the right decisions. And maybe there might be somebody else, but I think that the financial secretary is in a great position to be able to give the nation the information that it needs, because everybody wants to know, right? Businesses want to know so that they can make whatever investment decisions they have to make. Overseas investors want to know. Nobody wants to invest in an economy that is bad. Okay? People want to know. Ordinary small businesses want to know, because if they're going to be bringing in stuff to sell, they maybe end up having those things in the inventory with no buyers. So we should get this right. Somebody should come out with the proper information so that we know exactly what the state of affairs is. Okay? And if it's not the financial secretary, it's definitely not the director of audit. I know that for sure. Okay? And ideally, the Prime Minister should make a national address on this. Okay? Don't restrict it to just an interview. Yes, you can have a press conference and so on with details, but make a national address on this so that we know this is coming directly from the Prime Minister. This is the state of affairs as presented to him by the technocrats or the financial people. This is the state of affairs, and there's no ambiguity, no waffling, no spin. This is the state of the affairs. Okay? All right then.
All right, Colin, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is about 6 minutes past the hour of 1 here in the studios of WinFM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. Let me apologize as I couldn't get that clip up for you guys to hear, but I will share some of what the former Prime Minister shared in his statement that was posted to his social media. So the Prime Minister said, quote, "My attention has been drawn to a statement made on a local radio station on Wednesday, November 2nd, by Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew to the effect that our country was in the red or without money. This statement is frightening and calls for an immediate explanation from the Minister of Finance and Prime Minister. I received many calls from citizens here and abroad about it, and it was obvious that the statement had defect, as my tenure as a former Minister of Finance of our beloved country into disrepute, and I must set the record straight." And then he went on to list some of the finances that he says he left there. In a media engagement, Prime Minister Drew had indicated that his government had met the economy in good standing with all resources required to meet his promises. Wednesday's statement that the country is broke raised eyebrows. For the record, the Honorable Prime Minister inherited a strong economy projected by IMF to grow a record 9.5% in 2022 and about 4.5% in 2023. In other words, the economy was on a strong path of recovery after 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Most importantly, my administration left the country with the strongest cash buffers it has ever had in 40 years. As of August 3rd, 2022, St. Kitts and Nevis, under my watch as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, had $688 million. Just about that. We have some more callers on the line, so let's head back and take these callers. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Person is not telling the truth.
Sorry?
It is quite possible that both doctors, Dr. Drew and Dr. Harris, are telling the truth.
How's that?
Well, if I have $500 in the bank, I have money. But if I owe TDC $3,000 and I don't have a job, I'm in the red. Isn't that so?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. A second thing is that the references by Dr. Harris of the $600+ million, that is, as I said, probably correct. But what is the current short-term debt of the country at this time? That has to be taken into consideration using the analogy I just gave. Another thing is this. The projection by the IMF, when was that made? And economists make projections all the time, but the realities change overnight. Look at what happened in Britain recently. They were projecting to have a modest or near, almost just about zero growth. They will still have some growth, but based on what took place over the last 2 months, people find their mortgage payments are going to be doubling, in some cases tripling, because interest rates on mortgages, which were as low as 2.5%, are suddenly going to be finding themselves at 6 and 7%. And so it is possible that the projections made by the IMF were positive, but since those projections were made, what factors have taken place in the world, such as the war in Ukraine and other factors, that could have influenced and that could cause the actual turnout to be different? The challenge that we have in St. Kitts Nevis is that politicians of all flavors, of all names, of all types, find it convenient only to publish data that is beneficial to their reporting. So that one hears terms used such as our forget what the term is, our ratio are positive. Explain to the ordinary person in the street, what does this mean? Also, we talk about, the previous caller spoke about the Director of Audit report. The Director of Audit report is published in December of the year after. So what transpired in 2021, we, the ordinary folk, won't know until December of 2022. What transpires this year in 2022, we won't know until December of 2023. And of course, these are published so close to Christmas, in the heart of the carnival season, no one pays attention to these numbers. And they are published at the same time as the budget is being debated. And so people are distracted from the results of the previous year and more concerned about the budget of the year to come. The same data has to be presented to people such as the central bank, the IMF, and other entities on a quarterly basis. Why can't we get these reports on a quarterly basis? We don't have to wait to get the Director of Audit report at the end of the period. Why can't we on a quarterly basis be told our revenues were this, our outcome was such and such, our projections, etc., so that we have an idea where we are going? Because as a people, we cannot give credit or make objective criticism of the way the country is being run as far as economics and finances unless we have current data telling me in December of 2023 where we went wrong in 2022. Doesn't help me. It's too late to make a comment. It's too late to make an input. It's crying over spilled milk, as they say. And so I get back to the basic thing. Dr. Drew is probably correct, and Dr. Harris is probably correct. But in what context and what information is left out? When Dr. Drew said the country's in the red, what data did he provide as evidence that the country is in the red? Simply making a blank statement proves nothing except that a politician made a statement. Dr. Harris said we had X dollars in the bank. That may be factual, but what were the obligations against which that X dollars in the bank held? $600 million is a lot of money, but if you owe $2 billion, or if you owe $1 billion that is short-term debt, $600 million is not a lot of money. It's all relative. So the need to give us data that we can use on a timely basis so that as citizens and taxpayers, we are both better informed and we can objectively either give credit where it is due or criticize where it ought to be done. May you have a wonderful day, sir.
All right, caller, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 15 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour here in the studios of 1FM 98.9, and you're listening to Inside the News for Saturday, November 5th, 2022. I am your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. It's nice hearing the last caller. Both can be right. And as he correctly said, Dr. Drew did not present any information. So you can't make a conclusion without data. Now, he knows, and I don't know if you know, government revenue is not consistent. Some quarters they get more than others, eh?
Yes.
So you can come to that conclusion if you're looking at June. Because as you said, you were misleading people. And the debt is at the back of the estimate of expenditure. Short-term debt to be like overdrafts and stuff like that, right? So we have to wait until we get to the end of the year to make that statement. Because you can't say, oh, well, you were in the red in June, and then your surplus down below. We must know how data flow. Government don't collect the same amount of taxes, and the projection is based on what you expect to happen in the main sectors like tourism. You would have heard the Minister of Tourism say that we expect to go almost 1 million. Isn't that so? I remember Marsha said it, you know.
Yes.
999 something thousand people we expect. And we expect to have construction. Those are usually the two main ones on which you base your projection. The manufacturing is down, so that has been down for a while. So it's not any fancy dreamy thing. Again, that goes for everybody. When you're making statements, you must give numbers. Because you see, what it looked like to me is an excuse to get out of fulfilling the promises they make. It's just that, you know. You promise to get 1,500 here. You promise to get 500 here. That is the easiest way of getting out of the promises that were made and people are expecting. It's as simple as that. All right, then.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. It is now 18 minutes past the hour of 1. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls. Call us and join us on this conversation at 466-0989, 762-0989 or 662-0989. We have some more callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Devon, I want to say something quickly. As we're talking about deficit, national deficit, it's an easy way to tell whether you make whether your country was in a deficit or you made a surplus. If the national debt goes up, you're in a deficit. If your national debt goes down, you have made a surplus. As easy as that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. I'll have to take this short break, and when we come back, we'll begin to wrap up the conversation for today. We will end this program, of course, at 1:30. Let's take this short break, and I'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
People make the world go.
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9. It is 1:22. We wrap up at 1:30. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 466-0989, 762-0989, or 662-0989. This is Inside the News here on WinFM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We'll head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. A caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Javon. Javon?
Yes, talk to me.
Okay. If I owe you $1,000 and my week's pay is $900 or $1,000 and I ain't come and pay off me $1,000, but I got me week's pay, me $900 or me $1,000 in my pocket, can I say I got surplus?
No.
Okay then, you answer the question. Miss Henry is correct. Congratulations, Miss Henry. When you pay off your debt and you don't have no debt behind your name, even though you don't got no money in your pocket, you got surplus. Because you ain't got nobody.
The debt is cleared.
All right then. Thank you, Javon. Have a good day.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution. Yes, so that is it. Well, when you look at it from that, it actually makes sense, yes. So the comment by the previous callers when they said the Prime Minister, when the Prime Minister may be right and the former Prime Minister may be right. So you have a situation where the former Prime Minister is saying, okay, we left X amount in the Treasury. That may be the case. And then you have the current Prime Minister suggesting that, well, we are in the red. So it could be a case where, yes, this money is there, but there is no surplus. We don't have a surplus. We're not making more than what we are putting out. Let's have it to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Devon, it's me again. I'd like quickly say something. I'm looking at a table here, okay, concerning the debt situation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And the table is from 1996 to 2021. And so far as I've seen, I don't think it could ever be said year after year after year after year we made a surplus. You see, some years we made a surplus as the national debt went down, and other years we were in the deficit as the national debt went up. Now, concerning surpluses and deficit, you may count it as a surplus, okay? Even though you might still be in debt, you may count it as a surplus if your expense has been less than what is coming in, than the money coming in. And so in that sense, you may consider it a surplus, even though you may still be in debt. It's a surplus relative to the fact that your expense has been less than what is coming in. So yes, you could still be in debt, but in another context, you could still say you made a surplus. You know, I don't think you have to get rid of all your debt before you could say, in any context, you made a surplus. That's how I understand it. Do you understand that? Understand it different, Devon?
I see where you're coming from. Yes.
Exactly. But like I said, you want to know whether your country is in debt or deficit? Check out the national debt. It goes up, you're in deficit. It goes down, you're in surplus. Because it could only go down if your expense is less than your income. But if the national debt go up, that reflects the fact that your expense was greater than your income. Okay, thank you.
And thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. Just 2 minutes left before we wrap up. So we'll take one more call and then we'll end the conversation for today. Call us at 466-0989, 762-0989 or 662-0989. This is Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9, and I'm your host for today. Let me just use this opportunity to say thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much for your calls and your opinions and suggestions and your view on the topic at hand. Let's hit this final caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good day. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. And yourself?
I've been listening to the conversation, and I think the indicators, the financial indicators, are being oversimplified and looked at in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, one should not calculate that because there is debt or there is a deficit, people should panic. It does not indicate an automatic weak economy. There are other indicators that must be considered. I think it's very important for our professionals when praising these financial indicators with reference to any country. We should be very careful because the country's economy depends upon the assets it has, the reserve, its ability to pay, the credit terms of the debt. So people should not panic. It doesn't mean that the country is in a poor state or it was inherited in a poor state. So when we only give a few indicators and not all that should be considered, we should do further investigation to find out the exact snapshot of where our country is. And that is just what I like to add to this conversation.
Thank you so much, caller, for your contribution. It is 1:30, and so we're going to bring this conversation to a close here on Inside the News. Let me say thank you so much for your contribution to this program. Thank you so much. Until next time, you guys continue to stay safe. Stay tuned to 1FM 98.9. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. And yeah, we're back out to work on Monday again. You guys take care.